Hi, I'm Danny Queen. Welcome to another edition of Color Me Poetry. This evening we have with us Brother R and the Sounds of Awareness.
This is the Evil Landing Song. We also know it as Old Freedom. this song is Far Away. The name of this composition is Egypt.
the Million Man March. Man to man, brother to brother, it's got to be a family affair, standing in unity and fully committed. You owe it to yourself to be there. Sober-minded, disciplined, organized, and standing tall, and even the dry bones in the valley of despair will heed the wake-up call. We wish to say to America that the ugly ego of injustice is not the way. So we've come together from all walks of life to shut America down for a day. And so long as we stand on righteousness and truth, we can never go wrong. So we're marching on Washington, 1 million plus, 1 million strong. From every civic, fraternal, political, and religious affiliation, let us come together as one for the love of the black nation. After 440 years of being under siege, it's been time for a meeting of the minds. Yet we are a nation within a nation, behind enemy lines. So let the enemies of our rise say what they choose, because this holy day of decision is not about being on the 6 o'clock news. All black self-hatred is on death row for the sake of nation time, because our unity of purpose is a wake-up call for a revolution of the mind. The Million Man call out is not about being anti-anybody else, but it's simply about reaffirming our moral and spiritual sense of self. Never mind those who tell us what we cannot do when we know that we can. For this Day of Atonement is a message from the very soul of the black man. Never again will the hearts and minds of black men be trampled on and overtaken, for as the very conscience and soul of society, the world must know that a sleeping giant has awakened, sober-minded, disciplined, organized, and standing tall, and even the dry bones in the valley of despair will heed the wake-up call, the final call. Welcome, Brother R. Welcome to Color Me Poetry, brother. Welcome back. It's been a while since you've been here.
It's been a couple years.
Yeah, you know, you hadn't been here since before the Million Man March.
Before the Million Man March, exactly.
Wow, brother. I mean, I saw you at the Million Man March. You were on the tape. Matter of fact, the tape was two whole tapes, and you were on the early part.
Yeah, well, I was blessed.
What kind of experience was that?
Well, and it's an experience that helped change my life. You know, some of the years,
Yes.
there are these big events in my life that helped put me to another level, and that was an event that put me on a more intense level of romance, as your guest said before, your earlier guest.
Yes.
I have had a romantic affair with my people. Since the early days in my life, I've been on this romantic trip with my people, and
beautiful.
After being in a love situation that intense, it intensified my romance with
To see all those brothers.
to see all those brothers as one. Kind of made me realize that there is really an affair that I'm having with my race.
I remember that day, man. It was just such an ambiance, if you will, that just permeated the whole area. I mean, it's like a certain peace that you felt.
Yes.
And I was there that day. I was trying to make it towards the stage. Couldn't, because there was so many people everywhere.
Well, you know, the feeling of love was so intense on the stage that it was very difficult to walk erect on the stage. Everybody on the stage kind of leaned. There was such a powerful vibration coming up from 2 million men, 2 million plus, I must say. It must have been over 2 million. The intensity of the love was overwhelming, that it was very difficult to stand erect.
You've done a million plus things since that time.
Well, I have done a lot of teaching, that's for sure. I've dedicated my life to teaching children. So I've been teaching a lot, and performing, and composing, and producing. I've been busy.
So you enjoy all of that?
Oh yes, that's my calling.
Which do you enjoy most, or is there any favorite that you?
Playing. I enjoy playing. I don't play as much as I'd like to, but I enjoy performing and playing my instruments.
And the writing also.
And the composing, yeah.
Yeah. What does it take to compose for you?
Well, live an inspired life. That's what it takes. I'm not the type of composer that sits down on occasion and lets the juices flow. I kind of live an inspired life, and what's important to my life are all the children that I teach, because they do keep me inspired. So my composing really is a continuum of my daily existence.
Everything in life is connected. You know, before when you were with us, you told us about how you had studied in Africa and how you had to go out into the forest and make your own drum and everything. And that just reminds me that, you know, when we talk about life and our different stages in life, how everything is connected. Nothing is disconnected.
Right, and everything I find is also not only connected, but it's a continuum.
Continuum, yeah.
Yeah, it's connected from this life and previous lives, perhaps. It's a long connection with the truth, and that's what I try to live. I try to live on that thread, that line. And they say to be able to live like that, the ancients say, it's almost like trying to walk on the edge of a razor. It's such a difficult path to stay on. That's why one needs supporters, and one needs musicians around one if one's a musician, or well-wishers, or people that love your work to support you, because it's very easy to slip off the path to commercialism. I'm not a commercial artist at all. I'm not in show business. I have had musicians in my band even who were in show business. They were about that. I'm about something other than show business, about entertainment. Although
there's a difference. There's distinctive.
Oh yeah, there's a difference. An entertainer, I define an entertainer as one who performs for an audience, and they really try to help the audience forget for the duration of time that they're in there, forget their worries, forget their troubles, and be happy, and they're entertaining them to forget. Well, the role of an artist is to make people remember who they are. When they leave the theater, or if they leave the concert hall, they should be in another place. They should have grown. They should have had some revelation about themselves, so that when they leave that space, they can continue to develop. We're not trying to make people forget. We're trying to make people remember who they are.
That's a very beautiful definition that you gave. I never thought of it that way. So all artists aren't necessarily entertainers.
No, and not all entertainers are artists, but there are many artists who are entertainers because they have to make a living. So they're more preoccupied with entertainment. However, there are some of us who make a great sacrifice, and I also must say our families make a great sacrifice to be able to stay on the path and deal with art. And not the art of entertainment. Yes, not the art of entertainment, but the art, and which is what I'm about, and the Sounds of Awareness and all my ensembles are about. We're not out to be entertainers. I was an entertainer at one time, but I made that.
What was that like when you were an entertainer?
It was a superficial act.
And you were playing for money?
Yes, it wasn't very rewarding. I mean, it was rewarding to a certain extent, because it is nice to see people happy. But after a while, it wasn't rewarding for me as an individual. An entertainer who loves entertaining and doesn't have anything else in their life but to entertain, that's their calling. Well, it's very rewarding. However, as I was never really an entertainer at my heart, I work for entertainers, and it's glamour and it's glitter and it's name and it's fame
and all that.
But it doesn't move anybody profoundly. It moves people for a short duration of time, and then they go back to what they were doing before they were in your presence.
But there's different types of music for different types of occasions also, isn't it?
Yes.
I mean, there's very spiritual music, which I see your music very spiritually uplifting. And then you got party music, and you got all kinds of...
And they all have their place. They all have their place within the culture. I happen to believe that party music can also be elevated.
High standard.
Yes, it can be a high standard. I sometimes think that we have dropped our standard as culturally, making party music now something which is on a low level, which wasn't always that way.
It's interesting you say that, because I remember a record by Bob Marley's son, Ziggy Marley, and the Melody Makers, and they called it Conscious Party. I like that. You know, they were partying, but they had a conscious party.
There you go.
And I think that's what music should be.
There you go. And I believe I believe you can have a great time, you can have a partying time, but also the music can be enriching.
The music of Bob Marley itself was conscious party music.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, if you listen, reggae music, most of reggae music, you listen to what they're saying.
Yeah.
You know,
I love reggae music. I loved Bob Marley and Peter Tosh. They had a serious message, and it was entertaining. It was very danceable. But there have been reggae musicians since Bob Marley, who was a master and a prophet, who have lessened the intensity of the music. They have brought that reggae music down to a commercial level, where it's no longer party consciousness, except perhaps Ziggy Marley. But it happens in every phase of the music.
Why does that happen? Because of, well, I mean, economics and the call of the almighty dollar.
Yeah, lack of consciousness.
Yeah, lack of consciousness.
There are even, I must say, some musicians and producers who do it purposely to keep people's minds on a low level, to be able to control people. I mean, music can control the mind.
Is there a connection between, you think about black music in America, is there a connection between all genres, if you will, of black music in America? Because sometimes, you know, we in the church we have preachers saying, well, you know, this is God music, this is Holy Ghost music, but this, you know, that's the devil's music over there. And don't y'all go down there, and them folk ain't got the spirit and all of that.
Yes, there's a definite connection. Those connections are the laws that govern all natural music. I say the laws of nature govern music, and the essence of the laws of nature is rhythm. That's one of the laws is the rhythm, and repetition is another law. Repetition is a very important part that connects all African music. They all have a repetitive motif. And it's very important because in nature there is repetition. As you know, the seasons repeat themselves. Within the body, the heartbeat repeats itself. The lungs repeats the action. The sun and the moon, it's repetitive. So there's a repetitive motif that runs through our music, which runs through all African music, which kind of links all of our music. It connects. It's the repetitive law, the law of repetition, also the law of rhythm, as you know. Now the rhythm changes within the different types of music. However, that connects us all is the rhythm. Then there's melody and harmony, but the essence of African music is the rhythm.
What is this relationship between African Americans, or African people, if you will, and the drum?
Well, that's a very good question, because it still needs to be told, the story still needs to be told, that when the Africans were brought here and we opened our segment of with our ensemble, The Sounds of Awareness, on this show, you're going to see later on when we perform, we're going to open up our presentation with a song called, well, we know it as O Freedom, but actually it's called the Igbo Landing Song. The story is that the Europeans went to Nigeria, where the Igbo people are, and asked the chief whether they can take the last 18 remaining adults to America. They were going to give them jobs, and that's what they told the chief. And the chief said to these last 18 adults, go with these men, they're going to give you jobs in America. Okay, when they got to America, of course, they found that it was different. In America, first thing they did was they took their drums from them. Now, they didn't take the drums from the Africans that were brought to South America. That's why in South America they have they have music like the bossa nova, the bossa, and all
the African presence,
all the African presence, because they kept the drum, the samba, And when they took the Africans to the Caribbean, they also didn't take their drums. So you have reggae and calypso. However, when they took the Africans from Africa and brought them to North America, they took the drum from us. They took the drums from those Igbo people first, so that they were going to be slaves. And they were chained together, and they were near a stream in South Carolina. And while they backed themselves into the stream, they said to themselves they'd rather die and go back home as ancestors through the water than be a slave. And they sang this song, what we call "O Freedom." "O Freedom, I'd rather be, in my grave than be." Okay, they sang that song in their own language. That's the story behind the song "O Freedom." It's the Igbo landing song. But as I said, they took the drum. The connection with the drum with all African people is profound. And first of all, the drum is our way of communicating with one another, which still exists today. We're not speaking of pre-colonial Africa. Also, the drum is a way that we connected with our ancestors and our gods.
I'm glad you said that, because I remember, being at Union Temple, and the Reverend Willie Wilson said that there's a connection between all African people and the drum. He said you could be at a cocktail party, and then, you can be talking as proper as you want to. And when that music starts to get to play and you hear them African drums, you're going to respond.
You're motivated.
Yeah, you're motivated.
You're motivated.
That's just the truth.
Yes, absolutely the truth.
I don't care how high class
automatically. We know we do that automatically. As a people, we relate to rhythm. Now, it's the responsibility of the drummers and the musician to give the type of rhythm that's wholesome and healthy and connect us with one another. And also, the drum can be corrupt. The drum can corrupt us. Drum rhythms can also be corruptive, particularly if the player is corrupt. If you have a player who's playing, he's a corrupt individual,
So, is it
going
fair?
to manifest itself.
Is it fair to say it's like fire? Fire can be used for good, the cooking, or fire can be used to destroy you?
Absolutely. There are tribes in Africa that if you're a thief, for instance, they will tie you to a tree, and they'll have the drummers surround you. They will play certain rhythms that you will tear your own body to pieces. You will be tied to the tree, your arms and hands will be free, but the rhythms, they will begin to tear their own until they commit suicide by tearing their throat out.
Subconsciously?
Yes, the rhythms can be that strong. Now, when they're conscious brothers who know the rhythms, they can do that to you. When they're conscious brothers who know the rhythms of health and wholesomeness and good rhythm, they can put you in another frame of mind. But there are drummers who are quite ignorant of any of this. They just play the drums. Well, then they play whatever comes through them. If it's good, sometimes it's accidentally good or accidentally bad. They haven't studied, they don't know. They don't have the knowledge of what they're doing. The traditional drummers that I have studied with in Africa, they have the knowledge of what the drum and what the rhythms can do to the individual. So they're very careful of which rhythms they play and where they play and the time of the year. There's a lot to drumming.
A lot more than we know.
A lot more than we know.
That's so beautiful. That's so interesting. Because I didn't know, that you could do all that with the drum. Somebody, the Europeans, knew this. And so they took the drum away.
They feared it.
They feared it.
I don't know if they knew all of what the drum can do, but they feared it. They
knew we communicated.
Yes. Well, that was the main
with the drum.
attributes that they wanted to stop.
Yes.
Us communicating with one another, because we weren't allowed to speak our language, and also us being able to get power from the ancestors.
You did a segment in the beautiful songs that you gave us. I mean, they were really wonderful. You told us about the first one concerning the Igbo. There were two more that that you wanted to mention.
Yes, our second selection was "Be Far Away." Far Away is a song. It's a longing song. It's a song that I composed when I was looking for Africa, and I didn't know I was looking for Africa. I composed a song here in the States, and it's called Far Away. I'm looking for my place and so forth. It's a song with words. However, when I got to Africa, I realized that it was Africa that I had been searching for, but without knowing it, when I composed that song, Far Away. And our last offering will be a song called Egypt, which is an ode to the oldest culture on the planet, the ancient Egyptians, who are our ancestors. And I felt as though I needed to express my feeling towards that great culture, our great culture.
You say so much with your music. What inspires you? I mean, the people inspire you. The Creator inspires you. Does nature inspire you as well?
Yes, nature was first. I got my first call. I got my first calling to be a musician by listening to nature.
Yeah, because I noticed your flutes. It sounds like different animals and birds and nature.
Yes, that's where I got my first inspiration from, was to play with birds and insects and animals.
And of course, you have flutes from all over the world.
Yes,
You told us before.
And I've connected with various cultures, and so nature inspires me first, and children, and our culture. I get a great deal of inspiration just for being around people of cultural consciousness.
In closing, what would you say to young people who are studying music and who want to be musicians?
Well, my first suggestion would be to identify what type of musician you want to be.
Yes.
That's very important. As I said earlier, you can be an entertainer or you can be a true musician. If you're going to be an artist, a musician who wants to interpret life and feel fulfilled in that, then be prepared to practice, and open your arms and your ears to your own community. Listen to the sounds in your community, because our music comes from our own people. And then from the community, get worldwide exposure and keep adding all your life's experiences into your music.
In other words, keep the consciousness in the music.
Exactly.
Brother, we thank you for coming and sharing with us. We've been talking with Brother R and Sounds of Awareness. I'm Danny Queen here at Color Me Poetry. For those who enjoy this program and who would like to make a tax-deductible contribution, we ask that you make checks payable to Bowie State University Foundation / Media Productions, the Office of Media Operations, Bowie State University, Bowie, Maryland, 20715. I'm Danny Queen. This is Color Me Poetry. Brother, thank you for coming and sharing with us.
You're welcome.
Here, we're looking forward to having you come back with us again.
Great.
Okay?
Yes.
And it's been wonderful. It's been a while since you've been here.
Yes, we'll do it again.
We're not going to make it 2 years this time. I'm Danny Queen. This is Color Me Poetry. And until next time, color me poetry. Thank you, brother, for coming and sharing with us. You know.